I'm Dangle.
And I'm Dot, and together
We're
daring to do Dementia Different. We really want to focus in sometime on those early stages before a diagnosis, or right around when you get a diagnosis. That's what we feel like sort of is our specialty.
I think that's our sweet spot, if that's
Our
really
sweet
the
spot,
name.
because at that juncture, you have lots of possibilities, and getting stuck in the fear of things is really tough.
And I think what you got to do is you got to turn around and look at the fear that you might feel, the angst that, oh, I'm not having nothing to do with that, and find out.
There's a lot of resistance around finding out if there's something going on from family members.
Might be working with someone that you think, wow,
Something's changed here.
she's 2 bubbles off, Pum. Ah, there's Dangle.
Yeah. And so we want to talk about some approaches to a family member that you suspect.
It is a tender subject, isn't it? And I think carefully would be the first step, and tenderly, because sometimes people that are actually going through maybe some cognitive issues really don't know. They don't see it.
That's very common.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also, sometimes the person who's seeing it sometimes is the child of an older couple.
Right.
They're adult. They come back and they see something's going on.
Or
but everybody's in denial. Nobody is kind of recognizing it. So, approaching these conversations, I think you're going to pull up resistance. There is definitely a lot of fear, like nobody wants this.
Nobody wants it.
I think it takes several conversations.
I think so too.
And then you have to know your loved ones well enough to know who is sort of the person first that's going to be most open to the subject. Using force or fear tactics, that's not going to get you too far. That's going to get you even more resistance, even anger. I'm not going to go do that.
I don't have anything wrong with me.
There's nothing wrong with me. Or one of the biggest fears right away, I have learned in my experience, is somebody's afraid that their keys and the license is going to get taken away.
Exactly.
First. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Of course, we plan for the end of our lives in terms of, I don't have to work anymore, and suddenly the bonanza.
It's going to be the golden years.
And everything is right in front of me, and then somebody says to me, you're acting, maybe, are you feeling okay?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing leads to another. I don't know. So I approach that a little bit differently in looking back, because both of my girls said, why are you so, bent on going and finding out if it in fact is a cognitive decline? And I said, well, my dad had it, so if you have that possibility, whether a family member of yours has been diagnosed, it's not the end all that you have it, but it certainly is a precursor, can be a precursor to it. I wanted to know. I did.
Right.
That was there, and not everybody is that way, of course.
Mm-mm. I think you're a little rare that you were, in a way, willing and wanted to go. But I think it served you so well, and that's why it's such a good.
That's why we're saying this.
Saying it, right? Where I worked in a dementia clinic and saw families that waited so too late and too long over the resistance and not being able to have the conversation, even witnessed somebody so afraid that their license was going to be taken away that when they got to the appointment and had to just show their ID for the medical appointments,
they didn't want to do it.
They left thinking that their license was being taken away that day. And they had waited months for that appointment. And the fear just shut the person down.
Wow.
I know. So Nancy, I think you're a great example of let's take this bull by the horns. Let's not assume it's going to mean no driving, long-term things already.
No.
It's not
that didn't click in with me. I might just be slow. I'm not sure. So take this with a grain of salt. So it has been 12 years.
12 years. And you're still driving?
And I'm still curious, and I'm still questioning, and I'm, saying yes, yes, no, no.
Mm.
So I guess I'm saying, because of my experience, not everybody finds something wrong.
Right. And we want to point that out. Sometimes there's other reasons. Someone might be having cognitive changes. It could be a vitamin deficiencies, underlying infections, some fixable, tweaky things.
Right.
For me, that's like, hey, that's reason enough to go.
Right.
And also the process does take a long time, to be honest.
It does. We're trying to do something about that, by the way.
Yeah, everybody's working on that, and there's
to make that a slower process.
Well, yeah, or a quicker process.
Oh, I meant quicker, not slower.
I think these discussions with family members sometimes do take some massaging, some tweaking.
And maybe there's one family member or one friend over another that might,
might be the one
that can just sort of coerce the conversation. Doesn't have to be, you got to do this.
Right, I have heard conversations where, well, you're gonna, the fear is the...
Yeah, don't do that.
Trying to use that to get somebody to do something never really works anyway.
No.
I think a softer approach, making sure you pay attention to your body language, knowing the person, what, hey, we want to be our family, to do this together type of thing, if that's hopefully the case.
And it is what our family did. I brought the kids in really early and questioned whether I was doing it right. Am I right telling them all this stuff right up front as opposed to letting it just weigh out? So that's an independent decision that you make amongst your family.
So Nancy, what is your advice for family members or people who are noticing their own changes that may be resistant to going to find out?
Just do it. I mean, just do it. And I say that because it has worked out so well for me. And still frustrating times and the ups and the downs of it all, but you might walk away and not have that problem at all.
Yeah.
And so I say do it. But based on the fact that it has worked out, that the diagnosis was in alignment with whatever's going on in my noggin, I'm grateful for the time that I have had to explore and to examine and to facilitate and to get used to.
Yeah, the new way of being.
Right.
The new way of doing.
It is a change.
It is a change.
Like it or not.
Yeah.
But with or without a dementia portion of your life changes anyway.
Yes. And I think from the care partner perspective, the earlier you know, the more you're going to have to work on acceptance of things are not going to maybe be as you two had planned or
I think you catch on to that slowly.
Right, but it's hard. It's hard to accept. There's a sense of loss.
There
can
is
be some frustration.
I do feel that at times.
From the care partnering side of point, oh wow, now what? I'm going to be caring for someone.
I didn't ask for this, but by the way, neither did we. Just saying.
But go ahead and being brave enough and curious enough to find out what is happening helps you better.
Serves you.
Educate yourself. Caregiving requires new skill sets that you might not have yet that you need to go and learn. That would really help you in the long run. So we really encourage some education around the whole subject. Alzheimer's Association has some great education pieces, as does our favorite Cleveland Clinic, Lee Rivo Center for Brain Health, that has great education around these topics.
Yes, superb. If you want to stay kind of in control of your life, I don't feel I am all the time, I'm just saying out front, but if you want to do that, you've got to learn about what it is that they say you have. And the only way you do that is dig in. You don't just sit back and want somebody else to do it. It's work, and you got to do it. You got to pull up those big girl panties if they are a girl, and say, "Hey, I'm going to learn about this."
Yes,
it's my deal, and if I care, nobody cares more. Okay. They all care, but not more.
Aw, all right. We're here to support you on your journey, give some fresh perspectives, some lived experience, resources, references, and just know you're not alone. Don't go it alone.
Don't go it alone,
All
because
right.
you don't have to.
Yeah, so Dangle and Dop has joined us. You can subscribe to our newsletter.
Please
and
do.
If you're enjoying these videos, please like and share with people who might need to hear this more uplifting message.
Yes, there is
Yes.
hope. That's what you got to apply into.
I know hope takes action.
That's
We're
right.
all about that.
We are all about that. Thank you for listening, and have a powerful day.